Hey, it's Wanda with the Empowered Empaths. What's the fastest way to change your life, to get different results? Most people in the world are working harder, longer, like I used to, maybe you too. Most people are trying to control people and situations that are basically uncontrollable. We see that with all the fear response in the world. But what really changes it? It's your self-concept. Your self-concept is how you see yourself. And there's 6 different areas. Your physical appearance. Do you think you're fat? Do you think you're too thin? It's that self-concept of how you see yourself physically. Do you believe that you're bright? Intellectual self-concept or not? Do you believe that you're good with people? Do you believe that you're good with math or not? Our self-concept is formed by the time we're 7 years old. We were trying to make sense of life and how we fit into it. Unless we had parents that knew what they were doing and were intentional, most of us internalize things like, I'm not enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not thin enough, I was tall and fat when I was a kid. That was my self-image. It was just not the truth. I was tall and yes, I was heavy, but I dropped the weight and I still saw myself as I'm too fat. What is it? Body dysmorphia? Well, we have that with every area of our lives, and it's not even true. It's just a decision that we made. We decided it was true. Then the way it works is that our mind looks for proof, and then it all gets put on autopilot, and it becomes a program that runs in the background. And until we question our self-concept, it's like a thermostat that's set at the level that was set when you were 3 years old or 5 years old. And when we are trying to change our lives, things come up against that thermostat. And if your thermostat is saying life isn't safe, I'm not safe, that's the way that you translate everything happening in the world. I see it all the time with people who grew up in an abusive family. Of course they're that way. They're always looking for danger instead of looking for amazing things. And since everything is energy and like attracts like, instead of attracting the amazing things, they attract the things that are aligned with their thermostat setting. In that case, life isn't safe, I'm not safe, danger's lurking behind every corner. People like this may have on the outside amazing lives in some areas, but underneath, there's still that little kid who is saying, I'm not safe and life isn't safe. And they're exhausted. Do we see ourselves as capable? Do we see ourselves as, oh, I'm not good at that? Like my analogy of being shamed. I think I was probably in middle school, being shamed in front of classmates, and I already had that body thing going on of being tall and too heavy. And then I remember the shame of being laughed at, standing in front of a blackboard because I was doing some math thing. So that did it. I made the decision that I'm not good at math. I'm staying away from it. It determined what college I went to. I was considered gifted in other areas. And this is what we do to ourselves. We have a thermostat setting that kicks in, trying to keep us safe. Oh no, don't go to that college. Don't go to that college where you're going to have to excel in advanced math and physics. Don't do that. Don't do that. And that's what we do in our lives when we decide to do the thing that we'd love to do. Our thermostat kicks in. Our self-concept kicks in. It looks like Oh, I really need more clients if you're a coach or if you're an entrepreneur. But the thermostat kicks in and it says something like, yeah, but it may not be safe. What if they judge you? Because when you were a kid, you were judged. Well, you're not 3, and that's what we have to say. I'm not 3. I'm not 5. It may look like overwhelm. This is so common in entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur for decades. I left corporate America. They said that my bowing mechanism quit working and got involved in a real estate development company. And so I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. And I used to do it the old way. I used to work longer. I used to believe that if I wanted to triple my income, it required that I worked 3 times as much. Honestly, for all my business experience, I let my fear control me. I backed down from the roles that I could have played in the partnership because I was telling myself a story that, oh, well, you're not good at this, and he is. But these are just stories that we tell ourselves, and the stories that we tell ourselves become self-fulfilling prophecies. So if there is something that you're really wanting to create in your life, and I know that for many of you who listen to me, you're here to create impact and make a difference in the world. But at the same time, it may feel like there is something pulling your ankle down. And what that is some idea that you internalized about who you are, and it's all made up, and it's coming up now so that you can say, that's not me. I'm not 2 any longer. I don't need to know every step. That's another one that's so common for us in venturing into the unknown. If you grew up when life really didn't feel safe, then that need for safety, whatever that is, the story that things don't feel safe is what will keep you in place and keep you stuck. So these are just ideas that we have about ourselves, and then our brain goes out and looks for proof. It's how we change it as well. It's how we change the dynamic. We look for proof because of neuroplasticity, because our brains can change. We can decide who we really are. If your parents would have told you, you're the best thing that ever happened to us. You are so smart. You can do anything. We love you. The world has been waiting for you. If we would have grown up that way, that would be our self-concept, and you wouldn't even be listening to me. But that's not really what most people have running in the background. What they have running in the background is, I'm not enough. I'm too sensitive. We compare ourselves to other people. They're smart. I'm not. Women are relentless until we get a little older about, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I have too many wrinkles. Who cares? I don't care. We have all these things running our lives and we're not even aware. If you had an adversarial relationship with your father or your mother, I can assure you, you have an adversarial relationship with life. Instead of saying, oh, wow, opportunities drop in my lap, you're on high alert looking for potential danger. And for feelers, that's just so common. We can walk into a room where there's other people, and the only reason that you feel overwhelmed is that it reminds you of when it was not safe as a child. But we're not a child, and that's the process. To say, wait a minute, I'm safe. Look at all the times I've done this and it's worked out. Look at all the times I've done the thing, like putting yourself out there to have more visibility. Remind yourself, remember when I did this And I got that email and somebody said it was exactly what I needed to hear that day. Here's what I want you to know. Who we think we are is all made up based on the mind of a 3-year-old. I heard, because I was so headstrong, my frustrated mother saying to me, "Why can't you be more like your brother and sister? I can talk to them." But as a little kid, I was probably 4. The way that impacted me was there's something wrong with me. And then because our minds work the way they do, I got proof. I'm not like everybody else. I'm too much. I'm too vocal. I make people upset when I'm just being me. So I better go in the opposite direction. And that's what many of you have done. You're people pleasers. You're afraid to step into the fullness of who you are because you're afraid because you couldn't do it as a kid. That's all that's going on. We are moving into a whole new paradigm on the planet, and we are being urged, invited to be more of our authentic self. But we need to keep in mind we can be anybody because that self-concept is all made up. It's just a decision that we made as a child, and now as an adult, you can make a decision. If you don't feel confident now, well, what is somebody who is confident? What do they act like? How do they hold themselves? What could happen if you become more confident? Is somebody going to judge you? So people judge other people because they don't want to look at themselves. We can make it all up. Who is this version of you? What's this version of you like? Who is living your amazing life with the love of your life, wait list of clients, with opportunities dropping into your lap? Maybe it's being a best-selling author. Maybe it's being a coach with a wait list of clients. Maybe it's trekking the Amazon because you want to. What is that version of you like? What are the qualities of that person? How does that version of you think and act, carry themselves? Be that now. Be that now. And then look for proof. This is how we change our self-concept. Someone that I just talked to who has believed I'm not good with money, and now she's really ready to expand her life into a life that is financially generous and generative and stable. Her old stuff is coming up. Her thermostat is kicking in, saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not good with money. I'm not good with this. This isn't safe." The advice is the same. Decide what qualities to emulate that match your goals, and then look for proof, because they're always there. They're always there. We just don't notice them. We cannot look for opportunities, for instance, everywhere, if we're always looking for danger behind every corner. I used to wait for the other shoe to fall. I just used to wait for things to go south because that's how I grew up. Because what I learned is, well, that's just how life is. No, that's what I experienced. And what I experienced was, I don't always get what I want. Bad things, like there can be really good stuff, and then, man, doesn't last long. That was my self-concept. My self-concept was, don't get your hopes up because you may not get what you want. And if you're older, your mom may have told you that, because our mothers were Depression era mothers. So, this is how we change our lives. It's not mantras. It's not doing more, efforting more. It's not the perfect strategy. It's just looking at who do I want to be? And am I being that? And in every moment, you just decide that that's who you are being. Starting our Monday on the October 21st, I'm one of 12 speakers on the Pathways to Prosperity Summit, I am speaking to this, to identity, and offering as my free gift quite a few things in a Facebook group over 30 days where we can start the process of looking at what beliefs, what self-concepts are running your life. Where's your setting stuck, and where does it need to be moved so that it matches a life that you would love to live? Everything is possible. It already exists. We don't create anything. We just materialize it. And I talk a little bit about that in my interview on the summit. How do I know this works? My life and my clients. When I walked out of my marriage years ago in the 2000 and I think it started in 2006, I walked out with nothing. I walked out with 7 foreclosures. And since I had married my business partner, I didn't know how I was going to support myself. And I was in my 50s. I couldn't go back to software, my old life. And then I was in an accident. For those of you who don't know me, I was in a serious accident. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't work. I didn't have family. I didn't have anything. It was me and my beliefs. And so I had to get serious about all this stuff I said I knew. I said, oh yeah, I know I create my life. And it's really easy to say that when things are fine, when life feels easy and secure. I had no money. I had a full leg brace on for months. I couldn't work. I couldn't even sit up for, I think, 3 months. And I had to get serious about this. So this is how I know it works. When we change our self-concept, things show up to match that self-concept. When we get fear out of the way, grace takes over. And things that you could not orchestrate or try to dream up with your mind drop in your lap. My clients are experiencing the same thing. One of my clients got a referral and got 8 real estate transactions, over $1 million each. Another one sent me her x-rays. She's a medical miracle. Her surgical team is saying there's no way. I could just go on and on. We are making it all up. Everything is energy. And all we have to do is match who we are being with your big, audacious goals. And if you're not doing that, if you're not setting big goals because you don't know how, it's going to feel stifling. Because we're not here to fit in. We're not here to have lives that feel stifling in any way. I will put the link in for the summit. You can sign up. It's free. There are replays next weekend. I'm recording this on a Saturday afternoon. And I hope to see you in my little private Facebook group that's part of the summit. Thanks for listening. And I wish you the best, because that's what you're here for.